Okay, I saw that a few people are a little bit confused about how to get started. Um, this is the easy way. I've got a drawing that I've already done, right? I did another version where I had it paint. I started painting. Let me pull this up. But this is not the process that that I want for this particular piece. Uh, what I would do is I'm going to double click this layer. I'll call this drawing. I'll make a new layer down below. I'll call this gray, and I'm going to put that beneath the drawing and set the drawing to multiply. Okay, and then gray, here I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to make this image mode grayscale, and I'm not going to merge. So discard the color information, and I'm just going to choose like a middle gray and fill that background. Option delete or alt delete, and see how I've already got some value going. Let's make it a little darker. Let's control U. Wait a second. Oh, this is interesting. I usually use control U to adjust the brightness, but because it's grayscale, it doesn't open. So image, adjust. Let's go with levels. I like levels. So now I've got like a dark drawing. Okay. Now I can paint in this gray, but I like to work with adjustment layers above. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an adjustment layer, and let's use levels on this one. Let's call this darks, and I will put this underneath here. I'm going to slide this down even darker, and I'm going to fill this with all black. Alt delete. So you can't see the this dark layer because see, turning it on the eye doesn't make a difference because black is hiding everything. So if I go over to the eraser, and I use the eraser a lot as opposed to anything else. So this is all dark, but if I use the eraser and erase it even more, I'm making it even darker. And I'm just doing this kind of exaggerated so that I get it done quickly for the sake of this demo. Alright, now I'll make another adjustment layer, and I'll make that curves again, but I'll call this one lights. Oh, I didn't mean to make it curves. I meant to make it levels, but it doesn't matter. I can bring that up. See how much brighter it gets now? But I don't want it all that bright. I only want certain parts of it bright. So I'm going to hit Alt Delete to fill it in black. So now when I erase, wherever I erase, that will be where the light is. I need to zoom in a little bit. I don't want to do it all over here. Still too big. See, by doing this, you can focus where the light is hitting. And if I dial the oops, not the density. I want the brush. I want the brush to not be so harsh. So I'm going to take transfer down a little bit. Opacity, jitter, pen pressure. Now when I press lightly, it takes a, see, that's what I wanted. Let me go back. Oops. Alt delete, went too far back. Now I'm going to delete with pen pressure. I want the light to feel a little bit soft, you know? That's why I'm not trying to go overboard with this. Now over here, I'm going to press a little bit harder because I want more shininess on R2, and he's already white anyway. And I can hit some more lights on some of these planes that I think are facing up and catching light. And the advantage of doing this is that you can do all your contrast, you know. And if that's too much, I can switch, oops, I can switch to the values and put some of the gray back. Now with this, I have the settings here. I can control how dark and how bright my lights are, and I can control how light or how dark my shadows are. So I just keep playing until I have a look to this where I'm satisfied. Now I don't want to go make it so that my I don't want to make it so that my values are too dark here. I want to darken it enough that I can still see my my drawing underneath, and with the lights I can, you know, pump that up. I can play with transparency too, like if this I feel is too opaque, I can dial that down, or I could control the initial gray in the background and just lighten the whole thing up. But so far we've been recording for a few minutes and it just hasn't taken all that long. Now I just slapped this together. That's the thing that I want you to pay attention to. I'm going to combine this all into one layer. Control Alt Shift E. So now I've got a grayscale image. Control A C to copy it. Now if I open up my other version that I had started here, oops, I need to open that with Photoshop. I want you to see the difference between painting on the drawing and painting on the grayscale. If I hit paste, it's a lot more punchy value, but even with this, you can click on the layer modes and find a layer that you find appealing. Even if I go with normal, I can slide the opacity down so that it creates value. I can also, let's see, what was this? Oh, that's a value adjustment. I can create an adjustment layer too of hue and saturation, and I can colorize it. So we've got a lot more happening. Actually, let me do that. Let me do Control N, create, Control V, and Control U. Or actually, let me do the adjustment layer for the hue and saturation. It's not available. It's image mode, RGB color. Don't flatten. Now when I hit adjustment layer, hue and saturation, if I hit colorize, it automatically gives me punchy color. And now I can shift the hue of where I want this. So if I say duplicate this layer and then make this one more blue, right? I can apply a gradient to this. Oops. I can apply a gradient so I can control how the warm goes into the cool. And this is what I was doing in that other video, but this is just getting more of the values going. So I spent very little time applying value to this piece, because this first one, without the drawing, this is all I've got. So I got a grayscale, I painted in some darks, and I painted in some lights. But the heavy lifting is done by the drawing. And I even have the copy of all of those layers flattened up here. And I can also play with the whatchamacallit, the layer modes in the drawing on top of itself to create, you know, value that I like. So even here, if it's too much, I can dial it down. But the point is, I let the computer do more of the work with the adjustments as opposed to slaving over it. So at this point, coloring this, you know, if I it's still in grayscale, so if I turn it to RGB color, don't merge, and then apply that hue and saturation at the top and colorize it, you know, it's the same deal. But I got a lot of work done in value. So now when I paint color, it'll all come together. If I go find, where's my color on this one? I think this is all the painting that I did in this other version. I don't know if you can see it. I'll turn that on. See? That's it. So if I copy that, Control A, C, and then paste it back into this one. Oops. Control Shift V. Control Shift V will place it where exactly it was. And again, that's all the color that I had applied. Now I need to move the color beneath the drawing, or maybe here. I got too much opacity, so if I bring it over here, it's not there. So if I set that to multiply, and that needs to go above. But anyway, the point is just use layers, use values, use adjustments to make everything go quicker for you. I think it's actually looked better because I did it on this layer. I mean, I'm still thinking about value here, and I'm still grabbing colors from my reference. Just put those over there. But you can totally fine-tune everything. You know, like this piece, even without the hues, it's a lot of work is done. Okay, I hope that helps you. And again, I'm just doing this for clarity. I'll post both into the threads just so that you can see.